Good evening, grade 10s. I almost said 9s. Oh, there goes the electricity. Anyways, night vision activation. Right, guys, I'm quickly going to go through the memo. I'm not going to do the alphabetical list because we don't need to know that for now, alright? And that's not going to be in the exam. Alright, so first of all, I'm going to do the one we did in class. I'm going to go through this quickly because I've already explained it. So I'm going to populate two variables with the inputs from these edit boxes. So iCurrent from etc current.text, convert this string to int. Alright, and it's pretty much the same for it's pretty much the same for the iPrevious variable. Alright, with simply the name change here. Alright, so the first condition is if your current is greater than the previous, then we need to do some calculation. So if iCurrent is greater than iPrevious, then begin end. Alright, so if it's larger, then we need to check. If it's less than 600 units larger, then each unit is simply a rand. If it's greater than 600 units, then every unit above 600 will be priced at 1 rand 50. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say first of all, I'm going to calculate that difference. Alright, I'm going to calculate by how much iCurrent is greater than iPrevious, and I'm going to store it in a variable called iDue. So we'll say iCurrent, subtract from it iPrevious. So in other words, if your current is 2,735 and your iPrevious is 2,100, you are due 600 and I don't know what it does say, 75. Yeah, 675. Alright, there we go. Now I have that 675. Now, my next test, if it is less than 600, if iDue is less than 600, what should we do? What should we do? Do you see I have a variable called RO? I'm going to use that, okay? RO. So let's say iDue happens to be equal to 300 units. It means it's less than 600 and each unit is simply a rand. So I'm just going to say iDue multiplied by 1. But what is something multiplied by 1? It's just itself, right? So that's actually not necessary. Right, that's what you owe them. But what if your iDue is greater than 600? Okay, then you need to know, almost split it into two sections. You need to know by how much it is greater than 600. For example, if iDue is equal to 635, 600 of those units will be priced at 1 rand, and 35 of those units must be priced at 1 rand 50. Oh, come on. Yes. No, okay. Now you're just playing games. Alright. But do you notice what I did? I had to know by how many units my iDue exceeded 600. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a variable that I declared called iOver. Alright. So do you guys see there, iOver? And I'm going to use that variable for that calculation. iOver is equals iDue subtract 600. Alright, so if it was 635, iOver will now be storing 35, and the amount that you owe would simply be equal to iOver, which is your 35, multiplied by 1.5 plus 600. So why plus 600? Well, remember it was 635. Here you've reduced it to just 35. But you don't just pay for those 35 units. You also pay 1 Rand for the 600 units, so I just add 600 there. Alright, that's that. Okay, but look at this outer if statement. If your current is greater than the previous, you do all of this. What if your current is not greater than your previous? Well, if you look at your question, they say display an appropriate message. So show message, appropriate message. Technically, they can't mark you wrong, but don't you guys dare do this. Alright, because when somebody moderates your paper, they're not going to have a sense of UMA. You know, a sense of UMA. Alright, anyways, they say show appropriate message and, very important, set your display, your EDT amount display to be empty, right? So I'm saying EDT amount dot text. What should I display in there? Nothing. Great. That reminds me, I did not display RO here. Okay, so RO into EDT amount. Okay, there we go. EDT amount dot text and float to string format to currency. So F, the name of the variable, so RO, comma FF currency. If you don't want currency, use a FF fixed, comma 8, comma 2. The 8 is for the whole number part, the 2 is for your decimals. Alright, cool beans, let's see if it works. Alright, as in the example, which I have just forgotten, 2100. Did you see how to change? Okay, guys, sorry, I'm just reading a message. No, I'm busy. 2735. Okay. Nothing happens. Right, so we've made a mistake somewhere. Where have we made a mistake, guys? Talk to me. Where have we made a mistake? EDT current is this one, and EDT previous is that one. There we go, that was correct, yes. Okay. Yebo. This looks so correct, it's not even funny. Why didn't that work? Highball. It's not making any sense. 2735, 2100, calculate amount due. Okay, great. That's not working. Anyways, I'm moving on. I'm going to go to this question here. Alright, so guys, you're going to see I have filled up an array by double clicking here on my GUI, and you guys can see on the procedure it says form create. Okay, so that happens when you double click on your GUI, and I've populated this array, which I've declared globally over there. Alright, I filled the first 10 folders with the names of geezers. Alright, or yeah, geezers. Alright, so you can see it's a number with a hyphen and then the name of the geezer. Alright, so this button, alright, these two sections work together. So the user will type in a number. Alright, let's say they type in 50. When they click this button, they want you to look through your list of geezers and find all the geezers that start with 50. So in other words, these. Okay, so how are we going to do that? First of all, we need this number, right, from EDT geezer. Okay, and I'm going to store it in S size. Now, you guys are going to see why I'm working with string and not integer. It is not necessary to convert this into an integer. Reason being is we are going to work with copy and pos, and we're just going to copy the first two characters of the and everything's gonna be in string. So you guys are gonna see now. Right, so what I'm gonna do is loop through my array. Okay, so for I is equal to 1 to 10. Now, so why do you say 10? Well, I can actually see there are 10 elements. Now, this is not a good way of doing it, but since I can actually see that there are 10 elements, I'm just going to do it for simplicity, okay? Okay, now, what do I need? I need to check these folders one by one, okay? And I need to look at the first two characters, and if those first two characters are the same as what my user types in, I need to display it. So how are you going to look at the first two characters, guys? Okay, I am going to get the position of my hash, and I'm going to copy the first two characters into a separate variable, which I'm going to call store in size extract. So in there, I'm going to use that. First of all, getting the position of the dash. So that's the position. What the position of what? The hyphen in what? Well, in your array, specifically the folder that you're looking in. Okay, cool. Now, let us get those first two characters. Okay, so that is copy. Copy from what? Copy from that specific index. What do you want to copy? We want to start. Where do you want to start copying from? From the first character all the way to I dash minus 1. I didn't spell that correctly. All right. So from the first character all the way to I dash minus 1. So that's from the first character I dash minus 1. Alright, cool beans. Correctly speaking, it's like how many do you want to copy? Well, I dash has got a value of 3, 3 minus 1 is 2, so if you start at 1, you want to copy 2, it's 1, 2. Okay, so now all I need to do is compare this to what the user wants. So I'm going to say if s size is equal to s size extract, what should we do? Well, you just display it in your memo. Lines.add or users I. Alright, so I'm going to go through this once. Let's say we type 50 in there, right? For I is equal to 1 to 10. This line runs, it finds the position of the hyphen in the first folder in your array, which will be 1, 2, 3. Alright, 3. Okay. S size extract, we are copying from this index in our array, starting from 1, and I want to have everything up to the dash minus 1. So that's everything up to the dash minus 1, so that will store 50. We'll store 50 in this variable. Okay, now I'm comparing this variable, which is 50, to whatever the user typed in the edit box, which might be 50. And if it's 50, this is 50, it means I should display what is stored in the first index in my array, and you guys can see I've done that. Okay, let's test it. Okay, hopefully this one works. There we go. Let's try it with another number, so maybe 100. And it shows 50 and 100. So why is it doing that, guys? Remember, we did not clear our memo, so everything that was displayed there from the previous search is still there. So please clear your memo. Okay, cool beans. Next, find Giza in list. For this button, the user will type in the name of the Giza they're looking for. You have to go search through your array, through your school bag, compare the name that they type in to the names that are here, and if they match, you show it. Okay, so first of all, how are you going to just get the name? I'm going to copy from the hyphen +1, so not including the hyphen, all the way to the end of the line. I'm going to show you how to do that now. Just make sure I'm in the right button. Okay, cool. I'm going to just copy this, guys, because it's going to be quite similar. Alright, I is equals 1 to 10, I'm looping through my array. Okay, I'm finding the position of the dash. Hence, I've declared I dash globally so that I can use it in multiple procedures. Okay, there it is. Now, S size extract, I'm going to replace with S geezer name. Okay. Okay, copying from my array, where must we start? Okay, we must start from I dash +1. Okay, we must start there. And where should we end? Well, we should just go to the rest of the line, right? So you say just go to the length of our geezers at that specific index. Okay, cool beans. Now I just need to compare the name of the geezer that the user is looking for with this name that I've just extracted. Okay, but where is the name that the user types in? I'm going to get it from a input box. Alright, so I'm going to say input box, the name of the input box is geezer. Okay, the instructions to the user are enter geezer name and empty quotes. Okay, cool. So I'm going to compare this one to the name of the geezer that we've just extracted from this specific folder in our array. And if it's the same, we display that array name, that geezer name, which is found in this specific index of my array. Alright, and I'm just going to make sure I clear my memo. .lines dot clear. Let's see if it works. Alright, let's look for, I think one of them was magic sun. Alright, wasn't found. Let's go check if I spelled it exactly. Alright, we got quick sun, sun magic, guys. Sun magic. Let's try again here. Sun magic. And there we go. Okay. See if you can maybe try and fix this first button for me, guys. I don't want to make this video too long, and I have absolutely no idea what's wrong there. I will see you guys tomorrow, and you guys are going to write this in class, okay? Good luck. Alright guys, cheers.